Good morning, and what's happening from, well, my little spot here in the mountains. We slept super decent last night. Puma and I both did. The whippoorwills woke us up early this morning, probably somewhere around 5:30 or so. But other than that, everything was good to go. We did hear something kind of rustling around in the woods. I'll probably go take a look and see what kind of tracks and all we find. I'm about to cook up some breakfast. I'm gonna have some of that bomb bacon that I got from the little butcher shop and some country fresh eggs that I got from the same place. So hopefully that turns out well. And then we're gonna hit back on the trail and head north and then east. So hopefully we'll be at the coastline sometime here within, I don't know, a day or two. That'd be nice. Sit on the beach, kind of chill out just a little bit. State parks won't be open. We're still dealing with the whole coronavirus deal, but now, if you guys have followed my channel for any length of time, you know that I used to have a 4-inch memory foam that would lay right out there. And it just takes up a whole lot of room. It's 2 foot by 2 foot square. And then once you get 4 times 3, it sits up about a foot high. So what I did was I started using my little Coleman sleeping mat, which I've had that for quite some time now. I bought one of the earlier renditions and it had some issues, but this one is actually really good. This is a newer model one that they make. It's worked out fantastic. I used it the other night whenever I slept in the back of the Tundra, and I used it last night in the tent, and it's great. Now, what I will say is I've got this up underneath it, which is just a little foam pad that I got, I think, from Walmart or something. And both of them still take up a little bit of room, take up a whole lot less room than that 4-inch memory foam. If I could do away with this thing and maybe have an all-in-one really good pad, then I'd be pretty good. But this thing was only like 30 or 40 bucks. So I highly recommend it. It's just a Coleman sleeping pad, and these things are pricey, man. If you price these things out, they're real high. So Coleman sleeping pad, 30-40 bucks, works great, especially with this little foam pad. So I highly recommend. Links in the description. Man, this 𝐼𝐧 is doing great, aside from the fact that it's freezing up my asparagus. Yeah, that sucks. I don't know how to fix that. I mean, everything else needs to be real cold, so it's doing its job. I don't know how to keep my asparagus from freezing. In my little 45 and my other fridges that I've had, I can just put stuff like over here. Maybe I can do that with this one. And, you know, like right above here, and it's not as bad. But yeah, man, those things are froze solid. See, they're just breaking off. All right, so apparently it's just too cold. It's set to 37 because it was saying that it was around 39, but clearly it's colder than that. So we'll have to set it up. I'm gonna set it back up to probably 39, I guess. I've never cooked bacon this way before. My OCD will not allow it. Normally I have to lay it out in nice strips and flip it evenly and all that. But I've seen people cook bacon like this for a long time, man, and they just, you know, they just kind of toss it on there and hope for the best, I guess. I don't know. I had to try it this morning because my bacon was all frozen together, but normally I wouldn't do this. Hopefully my eggs, hopefully they're not frozen together, because I'm really looking forward to those eggs. All right, well, my fears have come true. They are frozen. Oh man, these things are toast. They're way done. Yeah, they're like, look, see? Look. All right, good news. I was able to find 2 that were okay, so I'm able to have 2 eggs. Perfect. This bacon, man, I don't know what they did to it at that little butcher shop over there in Podunk, South Carolina, but damn, this is some good bacon. The eggs turned out good too. They turned out good. I put a little Montreal steak seasoning on my eggs. If you don't do that, try it. It's decent. Those eggs though, those are good country eggs. I don't know why or how it tastes different or what it is, but something about country eggs, man. Damn, they're good. How about my creamer? Jeez. Look. So a couple of you guys might have seen my how to set up a tent video where I set this thing up. And a few of you have responded and said that you guys like to put the stakes in after you put the poles in. Well, I'll say I tried it that way last night, and I really can't tell a big difference of whether or not I like it with or without the stakes in first. So leave a comment down below. How do you set up your tent? Do you put the poles in and then put the stakes in after it's already freestanding? Or do you put the stakes in on the floor plan and then put your poles in? Leave a comment down below. I'm gonna go ahead and take this down. We're gonna pack everything up, and then it's time to hit the road. So I had to stop mid cleanup. If you saw me shake off my hand, it's because I had a tick on my hand. And I have a rational, it's not irrational, it's a rational fear of ticks. It's a funny story behind it. Long story short, I had a tick bite me in probably the most inopportune area you could possibly think of. And without going into great detail, I'll tell you it was around here. I am not playing whenever it comes to tick. Now, I got some stuff that I could spray on my clothes and different things like that, and well, you guessed it, I forgot it back at the house. I sprayed down everything at the house, and then I meant to bring that stuff with me, but I accidentally forgot. But nonetheless, now there's a tick, and I'm hoping that I didn't fling it off inside of the tent, but I don't know. Now I'm gonna be like stressing out the entire day that I've got a tick on me somewhere and I need to go check, and it's a nightmare, man. And sure enough, wouldn't you know it, a tick right there. Damn it, man. There he is. I don't know if you can see him or not, little bastard. Man, what do you guys do to get rid of these things? What do you guys do, huh? What's your plan of attack for these little blood-sucking bastards? All right, so I've checked, and luckily I don't think there's any more ticks. But it's a good thing I had that one crawling on my hand, because I would have never found the one on my titty. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up what I was doing here, pack up, get ready to go. I'm gonna have to check that tent really good whenever I set it back up to make sure that there's no ticks in there. Because man, those things are a real pain in the ass. I don't know if you've ever been bit by a tick, but it's one of those deals that after you get bit, getting bit doesn't hurt. Pulling the tick off hurts just a tad bit, but the problem is it itches and swells up and causes all sorts of issues for like 2 or 3 weeks. So no fun getting bit by ticks or having ticks latch on to you. So do whatever you can to get rid of ticks. The only thing that I know is to wear a bunch of insect repellent. I've sprayed down everything that I've got with that permethrin stuff, so that's supposed to help, but I don't know what else to do, man. Leave a comment down below if you know what to do for ticks. Now that I got that taken care of, we are off. So we've already traveled 232 miles into the South Carolina Adventure Trail, and I don't know how much we have left. I can't remember how long the actual trail is, but I've been pretty impressed, man. It's a lot more off-road than what I thought it would be. Now, whenever I say off-road, it's not like technical off-road, it's just Forest Service roads, different things like that. Weaving in and out of national forests. Now, the state parks are all closed because of the coronavirus deal. If the state parks were open though, you'd be able to come across all kinds of really cool state parks. So this is a really cool adventure trail. Highly recommend anybody go online, download the maps. There's a website to it. Just Google South Carolina Adventure Trail if you want to take this little trip. It's really cool. Situation update. So we're about to be pulling into Sumter National Forest again, which is crazy because last night we stayed in the Sumter National Forest as well, and we were on the west side of the state of South Carolina. Now we're more towards the eastern side, I want to say. But at any rate, Sumter National Forest, there's like numerous different Sumter National Forests all over the state of South Carolina, which I find kind of odd. At any rate, I'm gonna go ahead and try to find camp somewhat early tonight, and let me tell you why. So I made a post on my page about the tick incident that I had this morning, and quite a few people had mentioned getting a meat allergy from the type of tick that I got. And the type of tick it was a Lone Star tick. And I looked it up, and it is common for folks to get some sort of a meat allergy, including dogs, some sort of a meat allergy or a dairy allergy from these ticks. Although a lot of the cases are somewhat unknown, they say that it affects around 1% to 2% of people. So I'm holding on hope there. But just in case, because remember I got that ribeye tonight, just in case though, I wanted to be somewhere somewhat close to a city and not really, you know, way deep into the woods. So I'm close to Union, South Carolina, which is good. I went ahead and stopped at Burger King and got some red meat, because the other thing about that allergy is the fact that it's not onset immediately as soon as you eat the red meat. It's anywhere between 3 and 6 hours later. So again, I wanted to be somewhere close to a city if for any reason something went bad, but I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping that I am one of the 98 or 99% and not one of the 1%. So let's keep our fingers crossed. That's the current situation. About to head through Sumter National Forest again and look for a campsite for tonight. Well, this is not a bad spot, huh? What do you think? I think this will do. Now, there's no cell phone signal here, but that's all right, because if I go right up there, there's some cell phone signal, which is good. So I can check in with my people, and I can have a few brews about this lake. This is called Pittman Lake, I believe. Sumter National Forest. Pretty sweet. Nice little boat landing right here, or boat ramp. It's nice and windy. Frogs are frogging. Yeah, man. Alright, so apparently the 𝐼𝐧𝐭, the new 𝗏𝐼𝐧𝐭, is way beyond working. It's working, well, too good. It says that it's 42 degrees, but all my shit's frozen, including my beer. That sucks. Damn! Look at the size of that ant pile. Holy cow. Look. Look. Dang. Yeah, man, my cheese, frozen. My steak, frozen. Asparagus, frozen. Bacon, frozen. Eggs, frozen. Creamer, frozen. Beer, frozen. Damn. Gotta figure out what's going on with that. It's been running on max, so maybe that has something to do with it, but I run all of them on max. I've never had a problem. The temperature on the control says that it's been 41. I set it to 41 earlier today whenever I realized my creamer and eggs were frozen, but apparently that didn't fix the deal. I don't know what's going on, but I need to get an actual thermometer put down in there and then test it out and kind of see what's going on with it that way. Evidently the thermometer on there is not working 100% accurately, so we'll have to figure it out. It's the only time I've ever had any issue. This is a brand new product for 𝐼𝐧𝐭 though. This is a 3-in-1. It's a freezer, fridge, and cooler all in one. And normally these fridges, these 12-volt fridges, they're not real good at being coolers. They're not real heavily insulated, so I would imagine this one's got more insulation in it. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. I'll reach out to them, find out what's going on, stick a thermometer down in there, see what's really happening with the temperature, and figure it out, get it right. I do know one thing though, I'd much rather have it working too good than not working at all, so there's that. Let me tell you about the wind. The wind right now is significant. I mean, it's howling on through this little valley area that we're in, across this little waterway here. Comes off playing in the woods. I should probably spray him with some of that DEET, but then he's gonna lick himself off. It wouldn't be good. Yeah, I wonder what you do for dogs, huh? So I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit freaked out about the tick situation. I think that I swatted that one off into the tent, and I also think that maybe my little tan blanket might have one, or have some. I don't know. I don't know how I got the tick last night, basically. Sometime in the middle of the night, I got a tick on my titty, and I don't want that shit to happen again. So that being said, I'm probably gonna sleep inside the rig tonight. Now, I had already planned on having to sleep in the rig at some point, so it's not that big of a deal. What I'll end up doing is I'll end up taking the Plano box and water out, laying Pumbaa's bed there. That's where he'll sleep, and then I'll sleep in my normal spot, which is behind the driver's side seat. So I think that's what I'm gonna do tonight. Drinking some ice cold road sodies. Oddly enough, the beer on the top of the 12-pack, or half a 12-pack, whatever I got left, the beer on the top was frozen, but the other beers are not. Now, they've been sitting out for, I don't know, for the time that I've been here. On a positive note, it's been right at around 3 hours since I ate the Burger King earlier, which was red meat, and all is well. So I don't think that I have any kind of issues with red meat or dairy, thank God, because that would be absolutely horrible. There's people running around that have been bit by ticks that can no longer eat red meat or dairy products, and that is just mind-boggling to me. So, all because of a little itty-bitty tick. You're scared of grizzly bears, you're scared of the coronavirus, you're scared of all these other things. But 200,000 people a year get Lyme's disease from ticks. 200,000 people a year from ticks. Little itty-bitty ticks. You can barely see them. You can't even feel them whenever they hit you. Whenever they jump on you and bite into you, you can't even feel them. But at any rate, good news is I can eat red meat still. Thank God. The total is 486 miles, 17 hours, 25 minutes, and 45 seconds. So yesterday I drove 237 miles, roughly about 7 or 8 hours. Today I've driven roughly about 10 hours. And what, 250 miles or so? And I'm still relatively central. So where I started at in Wagner, or the Highway 39 there near Wagner, the Wagner exit rather off of 20, basically on the map I went like up to the northwest and then over, and now I've gone basically the whole loop has a halfway point in it, and I'm almost to that halfway point. So it's taking a little bit longer than I thought it was going to. The website did say that it was going to take either 3 to 5 days to do the loop, so we'll see. Average moving speed is 35.5 miles an hour. The max speed is 68 miles an hour. I had to hop on the interstate for just a minute. Max elevation is 3,000 feet. That was probably 𝐼𝐴𝐶. Pretty cool nonetheless that 𝐼𝐴 keeps all that for you. You can't really see it because of all the red dots, but all the red waypoint markings, but basically in between those red dots is a bunch of tracks, and I'm just following that track all the way around. I'm really looking forward to being right there on the tip, and that is the ocean. So that's the part that I'm looking forward to. I mean, the mountains are cool, but I'd kind of like to be at the ocean right now. You know what I mean? Some beach, sun, no ticks. I do have sand fleas. There's bugs everywhere. Up there, that's what I was talking about. Basically just put it up there. Right now I'm checking my blanket for any kind of ticks or anything. And I'm gonna go ahead and spray it down with some Deep Woods Off. It's gonna stink, but you know what? It's all right. Watch out, Pumbaa. I'd rather it stink and not be tick infested than be tick infested and smell good. You know what I mean? All right, that's it. That's tonight's setup. What do you think, bud? No, over here. This is your spot. Yeah, there you go. What do you think? You approve? Guess so. Sprayed everything down with DEET, so should be good to go. Tonight, you're not going to be able to see it on the camera, but tonight I had a guy in Hendersonville, North Carolina, which is not all that far from where we are right now in South Carolina. And he wanted to, that's a pretty cool shot of the moon there, you can actually see. He wanted to go shoot the Milky Way. And he said tonight would be a good night for it. And of course, I don't have any fancy cameras or anything like that. I just have my cell phone and the GoPro. But I'm really hoping that I can see the Milky Way from here. I'm hoping, fingers crossed. And if I can show you guys, then I will, but I doubt you'll be able to see it on the camera. The thing I highly recommend for anybody to do is just to go somewhere where you can just stare at the universe and the Milky Way and all that good stuff. I'm telling you, it is a mind-boggling experience. You realize how incredibly small you are whenever you sit underneath such a magnificent sight. I'm just telling you, man, just go sit up underneath the Milky Way one time. Just one time, it'll change your life. All right, so I got the screen up. Basically, it's just a piece of screen that I've cut around, and I put magnets right along the body line there. I'll show you a little bit more in the morning, I guess, but basically it just keeps the bugs out. I can roll down the window. We'll say props to 𝐼𝐧 for putting cup holders right here, huh? That's perfect, man. You can put a little something right here too. Cup holders on both sides. Pretty nice.
Where you can still find
How about my little theater system here, right?
total escape.
Yeah, got a little Netflix action up on the 𝗍𝙗𝐿 mount in the back. I mean, I can't think of a much better situation. Got Puma down there. We're living the life, baby.